The COVID-19 pandemic has had significant impact on various industries worldwide, including the oil and gas sector. Malaysia, like many other countries, are heavily reliant on the oil and gas industry, has faced numerous challenges due to the unprecedented disruption caused by the pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic led to a global economic downturn, triggering a sharp decline in oil and gas demand. As travel restrictions and lockdown measures were implemented, transportation and industrial activities reduced drastically, resulting in a significant drop in energy consumption. The oil and gas industry in Malaysia faced major setbacks in production during the pandemic. So, this topic explores the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on oil and gas production, businesses, and future strategies in Malaysia and other countries.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hafiza binti Asmi. In this part, I will explain about production in Malaysia and the other country, which is USA, Russia and Saudi Arabia. Production in Malaysia. The Malaysia oil and gas market demand in first half of 2020 was marked by significant situation unprecedented in the sector due to the spreading COVID-19. This had immediate impact on Malaysian oil and gas demands. Malaysia demand is expected to fall by more than 13% in April 2020. As we can see at the statistic natural gas in Malaysia from 2011 until 2021, natural gas production 2070, which is before pandemic, the Malaysian natural gas production climbed by 79.6 billion cubic meter, which is reaching a new production record compared to the other years before. However, start 2018, the Malaysian natural gas production decreased 4.40% but increased 0.39% for the next year. Therefore, natural gas production started dropping drastically by 10%, which is 68.7 billion cubic meter in 2020 because of a sharp drop of demand during the COVID-19 pandemic and consequent natural gas price drops, especially in the first quarter of 2020. After that, post-pandemic recovery in 2021, the natural gas started to increase again by 8%. Production in USA, Russia and Saudi Arabia. According to the International Energy Agency, IEA, worldwide oil consumption will fall by a record 9.3 million barrels per day in 2020. As we can see at the statistic production in USA, Russia and Saudi Arabia, in 2018, which is before pandemic, the USA petroleum and natural gas production climbed by 16% and 12% respectively, reaching a new production record compared to 2008 until 2017. The USA overtook Russia as the world's greatest producer in natural gas in 2011 and Saudi Arabia as the world's top producer in petroleum in 2018. In 2020, the USA petroleum and natural gas production totaled 66.9 quadrillions, greater than Russia 45.5 quadrillions and Saudi Arabia 26.5 quadrillions. Petroleum and natural gas production dropped in all three countries in 2020 as the result of sharp drop in demand during COVID-19 pandemic and consequent crude oil price drop, especially in the first quarter of 2020. The USA petroleum production fell from 31.8 quadrillions in 2019 and 13.4 quadrillions in 2020.
My name is Athirah and I will talk about the impact on business. The IEA reports that oil and petrol consumption has dropped by 30% compared to the year before the COVID-19 pandemic. Travel restriction, both the closure of non-essential activities and work from home has been done during MCO. Since all of these activities occur, people cannot go anywhere, workers cannot go to work, and a lot of construction work delay. Thus, the demand for oil and gas is drastically decreasing. This happened because there is decrease in the use of shipping and other transport. Moreover, since the work of construction or industrial activity also delay, the use of oil and gas for machinery or other use also decrease. In the end, there is reduction of the production and consumption of liquid fuel, long-term storage of crude and refined oil and gas. Petroleum Nasional Berhad, known as Petronas, is Malaysia oil and gas company, also faced problems during COVID-19. From the half year of 2019 to 30 June 2020, Petronas suffered a net loss from 28.9 billion ringgit to 16.5 billion ringgit. As a result of lower benchmark, price for all items has decreased their sales volume, and their income in the first half of 2020, which amounts 63 billion, decreased to 20%. Compared to the same period in the previous year. Generally, the total asset declined from 6 to 2.4 billion ringgit to 613 billion ringgit during the year of 2019 and 2020 corresponding. Furthermore, Petronas also delayed on several development projects, such as the delay of launching operation of Rapid project, which need the 300,000 barrels of petroleum per day. Because of this, their business is affected during the COVID-19. Based on the graph, from 2017 to 2018, their profit was increased, which is about 27.36 billion ringgit. However, their profit was dropped from 250.96 billion ringgit to 240.26 billion ringgit from 2018 to 2019. From 2019 to 2020, the revenue dropped once more, but the drop was even more dramatic because it was decreased from 240.26 billion to 178.74 billion ringgit. Despite general downward trend in revenue, Petronas have seen an ongoing yet steady rise in annual revenue over the last many years. Now is the impact of business in other countries, which we focus on US, Indonesia, Iran and British. First is US. In April of 2020, the price of Brent crude, which is the standard for Europe and the rest of the country, will drop dramatically. Price of US crude oil, which is the benchmark for the US, will drop into negative territory. Second is Indonesia. The oil and gas industry in Indonesia influenced the exchange rate and contribute to a collapse in the composite stock price index, which also known as IHSG, which led to an economic downturn during the COVID-19. On 24 January, the IHSG reached a height which is about 6044 before it decreased to 5942 on 20 February, and then it was decreased to 5361 on 2nd March. Furthermore, the IHSG has dropped to 4.2% on 12 March, when the WHO has declared a global pandemic of COVID-19. And third is Iran. During the period of COVID-19, the National Iranian Gas Company, also known as Pars Oil and Gas Company, POGC, has been facing difficulty. The main issue that they have faced is the fact that the imposed costs were increasing due to the delay in finishing and continuing to operate current project. More than $200 million have been lost in revenue as a result of the COVID-19 problem. Lastly is British. British Petroleum Oil and Gas Business, also known as BP, continue to flourish despite the difficulty of COVID-19. BP has had numerous experience in dealing with price fluctuation of oil and gas since 2010 Gulf of Mexico oil spill crisis. Therefore, BP had prepared for the pandemic in advance and had a strategy to deal with the demand and operational consequence.
Malaysia has planned their future strategies related to oil and gas in DTN plan that consists of 4 strategic thrusts, but we will focus on one strategic thrust, which is optimizing energy resource to stimulate sustainable economic growth. The objective of this plan is to leverage and optimize the use of energy resource to support economic development and equitable distribution of benefit to Malaysian citizens. Malaysia plans to strengthen the economic contribution and value add of oil and gas resource by optimizing export and domestic usage. Moreover, Malaysia will create strategic positioning of petrochemical hubs across the country by building more petrochemical hubs in Sabah and Sarawak. Additionally, Malaysia will increase their oil and gas production while attracting more investment and enhance competitiveness in oil and gas sector. This also will reduce the energy import. Now, we will also take a look of other countries' future strategy. The countries chosen are the top countries in oil and gas sector, which are Saudi Arabia, China and Canada. Saudi Arabia plan their strategies in Saudi Vision 2030. They plan to launch promising sector by localization of the oil and gas sector. And they will create a new city dedicated to energy. Not only that, they will double the gas production and construct a national gas distribution network. The next country is Canada. They has 2030 emission reduction plan. Their plan is to capping emission from oil and gas sector by introducing cap and trade system. By the capping, emission also reduce. This is their method to achieve the transition toward non-emission service and product. The following country is China. They wanted to maintain the crude oil output, which is 200 million tons annually. For gas production, they will increase it at least 230 billion cubic meter a year. But what if pandemic occur again? Based on our observation, most countries will likely to focus on non-oil sector. They also plan to rely more on clean energy to reduce pollution and obtaining healthier citizens that able to facing pandemic better. Lastly, most countries will do an adaptation of previous plan during COVID-19 that is suitable for next pandemic.
The COVID-19 pandemic had a profound and lasting impact on the oil and gas industry in Malaysia and other countries. The COVID-19 pandemic forced oil and gas companies in Malaysia and other countries to reassess their future strategies, and it disrupted the production, businesses and supply chains, leading to a financial strain and job losses. However, the crisis also presented an opportunity for companies to re-evaluate their strategies and embrace digitalization and sustainability. As the world moves towards recovery, the oil and gas industry will need to adapt to changing market dynamics and continue exploring innovative approaches to ensure a resilient and sustainable future.